Hi, so I just wanted to share a praise report and an encouraging thing that happened yesterday, and just to encourage others that may be in situations of need. Um, I've been needing a certain kind of stroller because, yeah, my son is 6 years old and he's well over 50 pounds, which probably about 95% of strollers made are 50-pound weight limit, and that includes your cargo. um, so um, we have a Jeep stroller which we get secondhand and we pretty much run into the ground. Can't even fold it. Well, actually I did manage to fold it yesterday, but it's very hard because everything's bent from the extra weight of a son that's too heavy for it, and loading it full of other things. Anyway, so I needed a stroller, um, because we're not bus takers. I've never taken my son on the bus yet, and I'm a little bit weary of that. And besides that, I'm not much of a bus person either. Um, and cabs are crazy expensive, and we don't have a vehicle of our own. My husband's our one vehicle is my husband's work vehicle. So so anyway, our transportation is either by foot or putting him in the stroller and me walking really far, which I do walk sometimes very far, and I can't expect my child to walk like an hour and a half, 2 hours straight or something crazy like that, and plus us carrying bags. So anyway, so I'm sure that I'm not the only mother of a child with autism that has a stroller for them, particularly those who have children with the usually it's Asperger's, that they have the lower muscle tone and they tire out more easily. So anyways, and if you get into the special needs kind, you have to special order them, and they cost even more, like, well, probably over $1,000. I did look at some online, and they're pretty expensive, and they look special needs, and a lot of us, when our children are still young, we don't really want ones that look like it. Um, so anyway, I was looking for a specific stroller that's hard to come by. It's a Bob stroller, and it was a special edition, and it was the kind with like the not the fixed wheel, but the swivel wheel in the front. And I know I liked the orange color one, but I wouldn't have cared what color I got. Um, Anyways, but it has a 70-pound weight limit, and they're like the Cadillac of strollers as far as I'm concerned. And probably with tax and all, be over about 500 or so, because it's 479 plus tax. And there's only one place in the whole city that sells them, and that's actually a bike shop. So anyways, it's a three-wheel one, and so I thought, oh my goodness, $500 for a stroller. My husband will never go for this. So I was checking Kijiji, which, for those of you who don't know, it's a buy and sell, secondhand site basically. And I'd been checking it for a while. And anyway, so the other day I found the exact stroller I was looking for on Kijiji being sold here in the city, and they only wanted $150, and it was like, well, they said it was in excellent condition. So I was like, woo, and it was blue color, so it's fine. And so I was like all excited, like, oh my goodness, what's the odds of this being on Kijiji? It has to be God, because they're so hard to come by, and they really are. They're not a dime a dozen here. So I was all excited, like God answered my prayers, and I didn't really so much pray. I mean, I did a couple times, like, God, we need this, and my husband would not. I couldn't blame him. He did not want to pay $500 for a brand new stroller, particularly since our son is like 6 years old. And so he just wasn't going for that, and I could not blame him, like I say. So anyway, so we got we emailed the woman, and who was selling the stroller, and then I felt crushed when she emailed back and said that it had been sold already, which really isn't surprising because 150 is so reasonable. So I was like, oh God, I felt really sad, and I was like, God, how could you put this in my face just to snatch it away from me again? And I know maybe, that's not the most spiritual way of thinking, but if we're all honest, we have our times where we're like, God, why'd you do this? And pity me. So anyway, this only happened like 2 or 3 days ago, and I was like so disappointed and didn't know, okay, God, like I just didn't know what he was doing. So anyways, and after our last expedition, or second to last expedition out on the stroller. Our last one, it was like squeak, squeak, and you could feel the thing like going, breaking. We got good use out of it anyway. Like I just thought, how much longer can I go without having a stroller that's for his weight? So anyway, so yesterday morning, a friend of mine from high school, from grade 12 high school anyway, when I moved, who has become very dear to me, you know, since we've reconnected on Facebook and I've got to see her once since in person, she emails me and she's like, said she was discussing it with her husband and that they want to basically buy me my dream stroller so that Josiah and I will have it for the summer. And I was like blown away and I had tears coming to my eyes right away, like kind of like I am right now, because I was like, God knew that he knew that he had something better for me, you know, and here I felt so bad because here I was, God, you know, why'd you do that? And he did it because he had something better in mind, a brand new one, and I can get my orange one. And so I was just overwhelmed. And, you know, this woman is not even a Christian. She'll tell you herself. She does believe in God, but she's not a born again Christian. But she is like, and I've told her this before, you know, you'd make the best Christian, and you know, and she would. She's a very compassionate, amazing, and generous person, and just she's very caring. She's amazing, you know, basically, and God has used her mightily. And it just was like, it's not the first time he's used her mightily, really, to encourage me and stuff. But I was just like, wow, you know, God's used you. And I told her about all this, and, you know, my heart was just full. And so anyway, so she's sending me, you know, what's needed and the money. And I'm just like, wow, it's just amazing to me. So I'm pretty overwhelmed and excited and blessed that God would do that, because I just feel so undeserving. But you know what? God knew it was a need. It really was a need. It's not like I wanted the most expensive stroller out there. And, you know, it was because there's, you know, to get one that would fit, you know, my son and everything and our needs, and being easy to maneuver in stores and stuff, that would have to be the only one that we could get in the city, that we could purchase in the city. And it just happens to be, you know, a really expensive stroller. So it wasn't like I had to have the best. It was that I needed this. And God saw that it was a need. And, you know, we haven't had our son officially diagnosed, as I said in my first vlog here. So we don't get any sort of support, like financial support from the government or anything that we could be given the money to do it. And so, you know, this is just awesome. God found another way to give this to us, to provide us with our needs. And I just encourage you, because I know a lot of you have your children in expensive therapy, because I know it does cost in some places, and it costs after a certain age and stuff. And you have them in various things. And if it's a need for your child, the Lord will provide one way or another. I truly believe that, because he did it for us, and he has done it for us. So just rest assured. And also one of my friends from the States, she just had her son officially diagnosed because she wanted to get him in a therapeutic horse riding program. And, you know, she wouldn't have to pay for it. It would be paid for if he had the diagnosis. And the Lord, you know, it may not sound like a need, but obviously the Lord knows this will be good for her son. And, you know, so he made it work out for them and provided it so they don't have to pay a cent. And this has, you know, been really good for her son. So God provides those needs. And just be encouraged with my story that it's not about how holy you are, like how deserving you really are. God's going to take care of you, and he's going to take care of your child. You know, he will. He's really just amazed me again, because I was so discouraged, and just, you know, other things going on in my life, like I said yesterday, just heaviness of heart and some issues. And just to have that in the midst of it all was such a blessing. And I just I know that the Lord will bless the woman, my friend that has blessed me. He will bless her and her husband and their family. And I know he will. And I pray he will. You know, it's a spiritual law, sowing and reaping. So, anyways, so I just pray blessing over all of you, and be encouraged that that need for your child will be met, because God loves you and he loves your child even more than you do. Have a great day, everyone.